Hey guys, my name is Krystyna, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. This channel focuses on the recovery of narcissistic abuse, understanding the term narcissism and how it relates to the recovery process, understanding the personality and disorder in general, and then the recovery from mental abuse, toxic relationships. If you or someone else you know is experiencing this, I truly hope my videos can help you on this journey. Today's video, I wanted to talk about the different self-sabotaging thoughts, behaviors, questions we have as those who are relieving these narcissistic relationships and those who are trying to get out and maybe it's hindering them taking that next step. Now, I know that this negative self-talk is massive and that's something that we manifest in ourselves so much when it comes to narcissistic abuse. And one of the biggest things that I see with that negative self-talk and, holding yourself back and not reaching your own goals or even starting them is the fact that you set unrealistic expectations. Expecting that you can go on, online, for example, in the recovery process of a narcissistic relationship, or when you're at the end of it and, you're just ready to take that final step and get out, oftentimes, matter of fact, every time, that person is going to feel so shitty. You feel so beat down, worthless, manipulated, stupid. You have all this horrible feelings of your sense of self, and you've oftentimes just lost it completely. And you think that, I want to just feel better. And who would blame you? You have felt so terrible for so long. You want to do everything you can to just, boom, feel better. Having the expectation that you're going to binge watch YouTube videos and go to therapy and do hobbies and keep yourself busy and do all these things to make yourself feel better, and you're just going to, boom, instantly feel okay, is the equivalent expectation to going and laying down in the street, getting hit by a car, and then backed it up and reversed it again. And then you're just going to stand up like, it wasn't bad at all. I'm all right. Is that going to happen in that case or in any case? Absolutely not. And that is, like I said, the same exact expectation comparison as thinking you're just going to be okay by doing everything boom, boom, boom in recovery from one of these types of relationships. It is so important for you to take the time to, first of all, let yourself feel emotions. In all actuality, recovering from a narcissistic relationship, and if someone in your life is NPD and you're going through this process, it is equivalent to mourning a death, because the person that you thought was one thing turned out to be something completely different. So not only is this person removed from your life, but you thought they were something that they weren't, so that person no longer exists that you're thinking of, which is important to remember. They never existed. This is all fake. This is a facade. So you're going to go through the 5 stages of grief. You're going to be angry. You're going to be sad. You're going to barter and ask yourself questions and think, well, what if? And that's okay. You have got to allow yourself time to feel your emotions. You have to let yourself get those things out. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to scream. Do things to help yourself, however, go through that process. Having a good support system is so important. If you don't have a lot of supportive people in your life, because many people don't understand what you're going through unless they have gone through it themselves, is make sure, first of all, that you are in therapy. It is very important to have someone that does understand NPD and how this type of personality disorder works so they can be a viable source of help for you. It's also important to have a list of those people that can help you or you can talk to when you need to just vent, get angry, do something to keep yourself from contacting this person in your life that's no longer there, that can talk to you and, help you let it out, let you vent. If anything, if you don't have anyone in your immediate life, support groups, Facebook. There's so many different support groups and there's so many people in there going through exactly the same thing, just like I'm here for you as well. And those people are there to help you. It's important to have that support. It's also important to set tiny goals for yourself. Instead of having that unrealistic expectation that you can put something in a time frame and boom, be okay, understand that this time frame that you think is like this, it could be like this, it could be like this, it could go on forever. Sometimes, there's so many things that have gutted you at your core with going through this type of mental abuse that it takes a long time to recover from this. So not only the therapy, the making sure you have a good support group, but also setting realistic expectations for yourself. Set smaller goals and celebrate each of those achievements. Combat that negative self-talk that is embedded into your mind so deeply from that constant gaslighting, that manipulation, where you'll see that oftentimes, your hobbies, you ended up sacrificing them when you were in this relationship because you were so busy focusing on someone else and what was important to them instead of you. For example, I actually make chocolates. I make chocolate covered strawberries, Oreos. I do woodworking as well. I do decor, signs. I actually engrave in it. I love it. It's my passion. So those things, I stopped doing them for a while, and it wasn't because I couldn't. It was because I had such a bad image of, myself, and I had that negative self-talk telling me, well, what if it's not good enough, or what if I'm not as good as I think? And that stopped me from doing some things that would have been amazing. So if you have a hobby you've put off for a while and you have beaten yourself down, what Dr. Ramani says, which she's incredible, and I encourage you to watch her videos as well, one of the things she's mentioned is when you are hearing that self-talk, you have to become more mindful of the things you're thinking. Because fun fact, your conscious mind cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. So when you catch yourself in those moments, think about what you're thinking. And you're like, well, I want to do this, but stop yourself right there, not the but. And change it to, I want to do this because I deserve it. And I want, it could be really fun. Practice saying yes to things. Another really good thing to do is make a pro and con list with a third column. That's another thing I saw there with her. The pro and con list with the third column is for decisions that you may be on the fence about or something that you don't know if you want to do or you're afraid of doing. Make your pros and cons, because a lot of times indecisiveness is a massive part of one of the side effects of narcissistic abuse. And it's from that constant self-doubt that's put inside you from that person doubting your thoughts, your feelings. It's from your own self-doubt from going through it and experiencing it where you think, well, maybe I'm not good enough. So that way, if you make a list of the pros and cons with that third column is going to be, whose voice are you envisioning when you're doubting this? And that will show you a lot of times where your decision making is coming from and help you identify those toxic behaviors and self-sabotaging behaviors you have and the source of them. It's a fantastic way for you to make decisions going forward. So like I said, celebrate the tiny baby steps, have the good support group, practice that good self-talk, the overall wellness of yourself. You remember, you have to heal mind, body, soul, all of that when it comes to this. And losing that core sense of self, you not only have to learn to love yourself again, but you have to refine who you are. Allow yourself to feel the emotions of this. Allow yourself to be angry. And write down a list of all the things that person has done to you. Anything to stop you from that initial contact. The fact that you've even made this step, if you've gotten out, that's massive. If you're at the end of your rope and you're trying to get out or want to get out and that's motivation, I hope that the things I've just said and what I'm saying to follow can only push you further, because it takes a lot to get to that point, especially when you have burned who you are to ashes and you have experienced so much manipulation that it has mentally affected you and physically manifested into your life. You're going to get through this. Another thing that we see very commonly is the belief that, what if and that's the bartering part of grief, what if I would have stayed longer, would they have changed, or would things have changed, or what if I would have did this, or what if I would have did that, would they have been better, could I have done more? Stop that self-talk right now and realize one thing. You have done everything in your power to make this relationship work. The ones that are huge targets for narcissistic abuse are empaths and those with borderline personality disorder, amongst others. But those are the selfless, giving people. You have given so much of yourself trying to fill their cup, and there's just a hole being drained in it because everything that you're doing, it showed no change. It showed no effort on their end. There was no positive feedback there that brought you to a better place, or would you be here right now? Would you have wanted to leave that relationship? Would you be considering leaving it if that person genuinely changed? Keep in mind, anyone in your life that is, purposefully or not, if you're bringing to someone's attention, which you have got to communicate, it's very important. So if you communicate to someone that they are doing something to negatively affect you and they know it's wrong and they continue doing that behavior, what does that tell you about that person and their mind state? To treat another human being like that, who is selfless for them, who has shown them unconditional love, who has been there for them through thick and thin, and that is how they choose to treat that person, to either take advantage of their niceness, the fact that they won't leave, think that they can walk all over that person? Would you ever do that to another person, let alone someone like that? You'd probably value them, wouldn't you? You know, that person, anyone with MPD, has a very poor sense of self. And thinking that you could have done more, to change them, or, what if I did this, what if I did that? Again, the bartering part of grief. If you are not proud of something that you did, and you're beating yourself up over it, thinking, well, that's why they left me, understand that 2 wrongs do not make a right, but also understand that reactive abuse, you were reacting to abusive behavior. And that is not normal, and that is not right by any means. Any actions you're not proud of, own them, take accountability, learn from that mistake going forward, but don't allow yourself to think that you caused the end of your relationship because Daniel cheated on you and you got really angry and broke one of his CDs. Should you have done that? No. But what was the reaction here? Probably a long-standing stint of complete and utter disrespect, hurt, mental abuse, even physical abuse, and constant degrading behavior by Daniel over here that finally brought you to the point where that CD broke. You do not want a relationship to bring out the worst in you. And anyone that knows that they have done this much to hurt you, and they can see you hurt like this, and it has no effect on them but continuing more abusive behavior, again, what does that say about that person? So do not beat yourself up. Do not think that you could have done more. Because you have done everything in your power, and you know what? The things you have done, so many other people would be so grateful to have that in their life. And if there's one motivation you should have other than being the best version of yourself, for not only you, that's first and foremost, your kids, your parents, the people that are important to you in life, you want to be that best version of you for the relationship you will be in following this, for that person that when they do come in time, and right now your recovery is absolute, this is your number one priority. So by focusing on this recovery, that should be another motivation in the future, that those things that you did for that person, to someone else, that is going to be incredible. That's something what some of us hope for our whole lives and never get. And if you need motivation other than being happy again, which is in itself is like a gold mine lottery when you've been through this, know that those are the things that are waiting for you down the line. So no, you couldn't have done more. And another thought, what if they change for the next person? What if their new boyfriend or girlfriend they're totally different for and they become better? There's something you need to understand about narcissistic personality disorder. It is built inside of these people from the time that they are yay high. For example, here is a little boy. Dad on one end is very cold. He does not try and get this child to feed into their emotions, to talk about their feelings, to, build that good core sense of self and handle that emotional development properly. They're very all about sports and guy things and just like the typical stereotype of what men should be like. Mom, on the other hand, she's very selfless, and she also is trying to compensate for the fact that she knows dad is cold. So she's giving, and maybe not holding this child accountable. So their achievements, like when they go to football and they have a winning score, they're going to get praise from mom and dad. So they start building that whole core sense of self on the outside, the exterior things. And that is when a narcissist is born. That's just one example of how it happens. So this person has this core sense of self built around all their achievements. For example, in my person that I dealt with this with, they were all about the things they had. When I first got with them, I fell in love with them for who they were. They didn't have anything at that time. I fell in love with them for their smile, for the silly things that we would do together, for the way that they made me feel inside, and for the love that I saw they had inside of them. It was about what was in here. It was about those good things that I saw. But when they would put themselves out there, they would talk completely about the fact that, they built themselves up over time. They would talk about their master's degree, their car, their house, their motorcycle, all those things that were completely exterior. They never talked about the things that were truly inside of them. And if this helps you get a better understanding of this, we actually took a relationship assessment. It was when he decided to go to counseling therapy, and that's something I'll touch on in a minute with these types of relationships. And it broke down all the dimensions of a personality traits with their self-esteem, their confidence, if there's dominance in a relationship, their qualities with leadership, and their flaws, everything for both of us. That person had incredibly low self-esteem and confidence in themselves, which is crazy to think because a narcissist, someone with NPD, has massively grandiose behavior. And depending what type of narcissist they are, covert, there's many different types. They can be very outlandish with that, or, it may be more humbled, a humbled one, a covert, but they still base everything on exterior, exterior, exterior. So for someone with such low self-esteem, and then you have this bright light inside of you, they want something you have. They value the exterior things because they think that's what puts them out there great to other people. Keep in mind, at one point, you were that new supply. You were that new person. So if they built this whole facade on themselves based on completely exterior things that they can show, like, hi, I'm John and I've got a really nice car and a 401k. What's up? I'm just joking. But if they built this whole persona, this facade of what they want people to believe about them since from the time they were yay high, based on exterior things, do you think that this person in this new relationship that you once were, they're just going to boom find out in the beginning? Unless something triggers it and brings it out, because that's what happened with me again. It was something that caused that decision to be made, where it was either A, do something to stand by this person and do the right thing, or B, save myself but throw them to the wolves. A narcissist is going to choose this one. When it comes out, the time length is usually, it's down the line. You don't figure it out to begin with because you're in this love bombing honeymoon phase. And you think everything is so fantastic and so great. But the truth always comes out. Who they were is built inside of them from the time they were yay high. That person has grown up their whole life believing these things are okay. Those flying monkeys, as they call it in terms of narcissistic abuse, have done nothing but encourage their behavior, tell them they're doing nothing wrong because A, they're hearing things that are not true. They're only hearing what the narcissist has to say about their different things in their lives, their behaviors, how they treat others, etc. And they also don't have to see that side that you've seen because you were in a close proximate relationship where you were either competition, in a workplace, you were a parent and they took out their abuse on you and that was their form of supply, or you're in a relationship with them and those behaviors start showing and that light inside of you, they're trying to dim it. So they're trying to build themselves up. They are not going to change for that new person. A narcissist is very unlikely to get help. The reason being, they do not think anything is wrong with them, and for them to actually seek out help, it takes a major life event to trigger this to happen. So something has to catastrophically happen in their career, in their home life, their family. Something big has to happen, and even then, those people oftentimes do not get help, which is why it was so hard for so long for therapists to become more educated on NPD. And for people to understand in general what they were going through, because there's nothing to compare it to if no one is actually shining light on the problem to begin with. So there is something called the rubber band effect with this that Dr. Romney discusses. She's amazing. Someone could go get therapy, get help, and the rubber band is going to stretch, They're getting help, so they're doing better. You think things are great. But once you put pressure onto this rubber band, something happens, something causes pressure, it's going to snap back. That's all it usually takes, where they can show progress, but oftentimes they will revert back to their behavior because it's built into their core sense, and it takes a lot to help someone with this problem. And oftentimes, like I said, they just don't change because it's who they are. So a lot of times you'll see with this rubber band effect, here's the bottom, here's the top. Someone could be getting help, they could be going to therapy, they could be doing things to change this toxic behavior. Well, they're still only going to most times go up to here with change and not show anything to actually show beneficial, worth noting behavior that's going to make a genuine change in that relationship that they're having that issue with. So it's still not going to be enough because that person is going to snap back. That's just how this personality disorder works. It is built and installed inside of them. And that is not anything that you fault yourself with. So that new relationship, think about it like this. In the beginning, you guys posted pictures of each other on social media, and everyone probably thought you were really happy, right? Well, when this started coming out and you started figuring out the truth about them, did anybody know? Probably not, huh? That's because regardless, the truth always comes out, and who you are inside is something that you can never escape from. It will come out. And the only way that people change is when they make that genuine effort. And someone that has very self-serving behavior, you don't want to rely on being in that 1% of people that has someone that actually genuinely changes. And if they were to change for the next person, what have they already done and put you through? Just go on the theory of craziness. What is the definition of doing something over and over with the same results? That's insanity. You have something to base your patterns off of. And if they genuinely wanted to be a better person, they would have been. Did they? No, they didn't. So would you be here right now if that person was worth your time, worth your efforts that you've put in as well? That is their karma. And that leads me into saying that you see survivors think that, well, because I was a victim of this type of abuse, this must mean I'm stupid if a narcissist targeted me or if I ended up in this relationship. That's a huge no-no. People that are the victims of NPD type relationships or have dated someone with narcissistic personality disorder, these people have a light inside of them that is so bright. I'm not just saying this, but you have to keep this in mind. If this person, their whole core sense of self is built on external things and things that make them look good, why do you think they went for you to begin with? Because they saw something inside of you. These people are intelligent. They have talent. There is so much about them that can be admired. You could be quiet or you could be the party of the room, but there is something good inside of you that that person sees and that person wants. The problem is they do acknowledge that you have something fantastic in you. And I was actually told by mine, you are such a giving person. You're so loving. And I really admire that not only the things you do for me, but how you are to other people. People that are empaths, and again, borderline personality disorder, are very susceptible to this. So you have a person here that has all these great things about them, and this narcissist is going for them. And so then you'll have the question, well, then if I was so great, why would they treat me that way? Because they want to win. They want to feel superior. They have horrible self-confidence inside of them. They have no sense of self. They feel very poorly about themselves, which is why they have this grandiose behavior to different extents. So seeing you have something that they do not have. They do not have empathy. They do not have this quality that you have. The best thing they can do to feel better about themselves is to either destroy that exact habit or just feel like they're superior to you. And that is how they win in their own mind. Think of it this way. Knowing what I just said, would a normal person see these characteristics inside of someone that are so hard to find and choose to belittle, destroy, hurt, terrorize this person, and then make them feel awful and destroy that relationship instead of seeing like, damn, I'm really lucky. I should be valuing what I have. I'm probably never going to find this again. I mean, some people literally never even find that. And yet here they are, putting you down, hurting you, degrading you. Does that sound like something a normal person would do? That light inside of you is exactly why they went for you and exactly why right now you don't know who you are anymore. You feel so worthless and destroyed because that person did nothing but try and take that light away from you. So believing that you are stupid is the farthest thing from the truth and only goes back into saying, destroy that negative self-talk. Catch yourself. Catch yourself in those moments and, you know what, do new things. Go and do your hobbies, the things that you're good at, embrace them. Because that light is the same light they tried to destroy, and that is what makes you who you are and is going to rebuild the person that you will become and rise up out of this. And that is not any person that they don't deserve access to that new you. And that is exactly why you want to heal and want to move forward, because that light is going to bring you so many positive things in many ways, through your career, through how you feel about yourself, through your wellness, through the things that you will get it to have in the future. And that is awesome. So know that you are not stupid. You were simply incredible and one of a kind. And the wrong person saw that, and I'm so sorry that happened. But I've been there, and you're going to be okay. Finally, what you'll see is people going about this entire process of recovery incorrectly. And what I mean is they think by just keeping busy that that's going to make them feel better, by doing 50 things and not giving themselves time to think that that's going to be what they need to do. That is also the farthest thing from the truth. What you want to do in a situation like this is do your therapy and recovery plan according to you. It's going to be different from everyone. For me, knowledge was power. I went through something in this relationship that I did not understand. It was new to me because I've never been in a relationship like this, and that's what caused a lot of my initial distress and turmoil inside because I didn't understand why it was happening. I blamed myself. I felt awful. When you explain it to other people, they don't get it, so you feel lost. What you need to do is I educated myself. I did watch YouTube videos. I did talk to healthcare professionals. I've taken psych classes. I went to seminars. I have researched, I've listened to podcasts. I did so much to self-educate, and when I was still in that relationship, I would watch behaviors, and that's actually how I found out what I was dealing with. When you feel the need to start Googling someone's behavior, that is often one of the first signs that you are with a narcissistic person. So once you understand what this person is, what they're doing to you, why it's happening, that's a very validating feeling because your reality has been invalidated for so long through all this gaslighting and manipulation and doubt. That feeling like you can say A, B, and C, and this is why A, B, and C happen, it's a relief off your chest, and it takes away the burden of wondering if it's all your fault, because that is the farthest thing from the truth. And I hope that my video is just one more source of you understanding and validating your own reality of what you deserve and what you have went through to begin with. What you also need to do is make sure, like I said, therapy. You want to put that therapy along your entire timeline, no matter how short or long it is. Because like I said, some people's it's a little bit, sometimes it's a lifetime. Make sure that you do have a therapist that understands narcissistic personality disorder so they do know the right protocol and therapy that will work for you and on your healing journey. You want to make your pro and con list with the third column so you can start making decisions in your life, even little baby steps, towards the things that are decisions for yourself, and to take away those decisions that are being made from a place of self-doubt and hate and negative talk, or because you just simply didn't want to be doubted by another person. And you know what? It's sometimes good to not even put your goals out there until they're completed, because sometimes when we just say something and put it out there, it will kill our motivation because it will give us doubt in ourselves, because after we've gotten that initial praise, that's great, wow, you don't have that, key motivation to keep going sometimes. Or you've had so much negative self-talk, you'll start thinking about it more and more, and since you put it out there, you'll think, oh, why haven't I done it yet? You'll try and rush that timeline, and you'll just wipe the whole thing. Keep some of those things to yourself, and celebrate each accomplishment as you pass it with those baby steps. Have your support group in order. If you don't have direct support, come to my videos, go to Dr. Romney, go to others. Go to Facebook. What I actually did for myself was I made a list of, like, for example, I made a few of them, but here's two of them. I made a list of what my goal was that I was focusing on at that time. Do not multitask. Keep yourself centered on one thing, because multitasking will do nothing but cause you further anxiety in a situation like this. I put on this paper what my goal was and why I wanted to do it, and I put that column there where the positives, whether, for example, mine would be making and selling chocolates and woodwork from home. And it would be for me, it allows me to be financially independent and still have a free open schedule so I can cater to my family's needs, to be there for my kids, to have more time with them. It allows me to embrace my passion and to feel good about myself and express my creativity. It's very therapeutic for me in this process as well, because it shows me something I'm good at and I'm putting my hands to it and I can see the result of what I've done, and that's amazing. That's a really good reminder to have. So when you do need that motivation, you can just look at it and read it over, because if your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality, make your reality and your imagination become your reality and feed it nothing but positivity. Another thing I did, and this is other than giving yourself good self-talk, is I wrote a list of quotes and comments. And these were comments. It could be comments, things that have happened, anything that made you feel good about something that brings you back to who you are inside is a good thing to put on paper and to remind yourself. For me, I wrote a list of things that people have said to me that were important in my life or events that happened that made me feel good based on my own actions. Just basically a reminder list of the good things about me that I didn't want myself to forget and bury in self-doubt. For example, one of the things I wrote on there, and this was from someone named Labar Calfee. She is actually a family member and friend of mine who lives in, I believe they're in Florida now, but she does cakes and bakery and she's fantastic, amazing. And I talked to her and I showed her some of my work when I started doing this, and one of the things she said to me was, "You are so creative and I absolutely love your decorating style. You do such good work. Can I ask you decorating tips in the future? I love your work." And that made me feel so good. Another thing that I stuck on here was one of my former district managers when I was working as a sales lead for a company I won't say. They came in when I was getting ready to actually put my 2 weeks in and start a new job and said, "Krystyna, you are awesome. And I know that you will succeed in whatever you do. I just hope it's with us." And that made me feel really good because I earned my way to that spot. And, I didn't want to forget things like that. Write down these quotes and things that people have said to you so you can remind yourself in these qualities that you have that you're embracing and those qualities that you want to rebuild in that sense of self. Write them down and look at them and remind yourself, why did that person go for you again? Oh, that's right, because you have a light bright as hell inside of you and they're sure as shit not going to burn it out. Those are good things to remember. Do not put a timeline on this. It's not cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all. We all have different points we're at. We're all going to take time, and that's okay. Allow yourself to be angry, hurt, but embrace these positive things and change that negative self-talk to positive. Remind yourself the reasons why people do see such good things in you. And if anything, if you don't have people in your outside life, because I know you lose people a lot of times in relationships like this, those support groups online are amazing. That therapist that you find that understands this, they're going to help you recover. And honey, I promise you, when this is all said and done, you will be 10 times stronger. And you already are for making either the choice to get out or the choice to take that final step to leave and just find who you are again and understand all this. Not everyone can do that. So good for you for trying to be the best version of yourself. Your overall wellness is key here, and don't let anyone take that away from you. I will be releasing new content on this topic consistently. If you have any questions, feel free to email me in the address below. And I encourage you to like, subscribe, share this video. I genuinely hope this helps you, and I hope you guys all have a great night. I know it got a little dark while I was filming this, so bye.